Did you know that in the past 5 seasons, at least one of the Premier League's traditional top 6 has sacked their manager? From managers like Antonio Conte, Thomas Tuchel, to managers like Unai Emery and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and even the greatest manager to ever grace the Premier League, Frank Lampard. So we are here today on True Gunners TV to discuss which of these managers will be the next one on the chopping block. Yo, what's good, people? How we all doing? Welcome back to True Gunners TV. Hope you like the little intro there. Of course, we're going to be delving into who will be the next manager, the next big name manager to be sacked in the Premier League. Of course, over the past 5 seasons, all of the traditional top 6 teams, at least one of them has sacked a manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Unai Emery, Thomas Tuchel, the list goes on and on and on. And of course, we're going to have to talk about which manager will be the next one to be sacked. And we're going to delve into why we think this manager will be the one to be sacked as well. I've got Northside, I've got Deji, the 2 regulars on the channel. How are we doing, my guys?
All good, man. All good. Big up, familia. Love for having me on. We're here, man. Calm before the storm.
Stay calm before the storm. How are we doing, Dej?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I thought when you titled it the managers, I thought you were trying to draw me out. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna try and draw me out about Postecoglou. But I'm looking forward to it, my bro. It's something different, so yeah, it'd be good to get into it.
That's it. Something different. I mean, these guys will know that tonight was supposed to be the preview to the Crystal Palace game, but it's boring, bro. Like, keep doing these previews all the time. Let's just do something different. Let's try and think of some different things. So, of course, we're going to be talking about the managers. Now, people that are watching, and even the people that are watching on playback as well, get yourselves in the comments section. Let me know which of these 7 managers, because I've included Newcastle in this because they deserve to be there. So, although it's not the traditional top 6, it's now the traditional top 7. So Newcastle are included in this. Which of these managers do you think will be the first manager to be sacked? It doesn't have to be this season. Could be any time at all, but it will more than likely will be this season. And give me your reasons why you think this manager will be sacked. So here's the options, guys. We've got Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham, of course, the newest manager to Premier League football. Not managed in Premier League before. His only ever high-profile managerial job has been at Celtic. Of course, Tottenham have lost Harry Kane now, and he has a big job on his hands after Spurs finishing in 8th place last season. We then have, of course, Newcastle manager Eddie Howe, done an exceptional job at Newcastle, got him to Champions League football last season, and there's a possibility that they may struggle this season. Like, I look at their squad and I think, can they play 2 competitions at once and maintain the level? Who knows? We will have to see on that one. But Eddie Howe. Then we've got Maurizio Pochettino, of course, the newest Chelsea manager. They've spent a lot of money again in this transfer window. I believe people were saying since Todd Boehly has been here, they've spent over £800 million on their squad. So expectations at Chelsea will be high this season after a 12th place finish last season. I can't believe I'm doing this one, boys, but we're including Pep Guardiola in this one. I know that we are never, ever going to see Pep Guardiola sacked from Manchester City unless he has an absolute horror show, but I highly doubt that one. Then, of course, Jurgen Klopp, another manager who could potentially be sacked this season. He has 6-7 years in the job now. Liverpool struggling in the transfer market to find themselves a number 6 after a midfield rebuild. Could Jurgen Klopp struggle again this season with Liverpool? Then we have Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. I can see the smile on Northside's face already. Of course, expectations high at Arsenal, spent a lot of money. after a title race last season. Arsenal are expected to go on and compete for the league title again and in multiple competitions. So expectations on his shoulders are extremely high. Then, of course, the final manager, Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. Erik ten Hag, again, did very well in his first season to get Manchester United back into the top four. They've spent a decent amount of money in this transfer window, not done too much business. There's a lot of stuff going around about the possibility that the sale of Manchester United might not go through. That can make his job very difficult as well. Harry Maguire not wanting to leave. Of course, their performance against Wolves the other night was extremely poor. So they're the managers, guys. And what I want from you guys that are watching is your next manager to be sacked and your reason why. And who should we start with? Let's start with you, Dej. Out of them managers, which manager do you think is next on the chopping block and why?
If I can be brutally honest, and I'm going to be real, and I'm going to say, actually, it's boring, but then I'll give you my explanation as to what I think could happen. I actually don't think any of these managers will get sacked, provided that they have a half-decent season. I think we're going to be seeing more changes lower on. However, if you had asked me this question, I think there are two teams where the managers are under pressure. And that would be Erik ten Hag and that would be Jurgen Klopp. And I'll explain why. Pep is Pep. We know what Pep is doing. He's cooking nice. He does what he does. Eddie Howe has done an exceptional job with that Newcastle team. And the way them man started the season, you know that them man are taking off heads. Arteta, with the way that the Arsenal board is going on, I think even if Arsenal finish fourth, Arteta is still in the job because they'll see it as a project. They'll see that he's still cooking, he's still working his magic, rare. And then I think whatever happens for Postecoglou, even if Spurs have a disastrous season, because of the crap that we had under Conte and under Mourinho, Tottenham Hotspur will give him time unless we find ourselves in a relegation dogfight. But what I saw with Tottenham against Brentford, I don't think relegation is likely. So we're left with Jurgen Klopp and we're left with Erik ten Hag. And I'll explain why. Jurgen Klopp is struggling to get the players that he needs. He needed a Caicedo, he needed a Lavia. Them two man didn't come through. And that midfield is an issue for Jurgen. And if that midfield isn't patterned right, Liverpool could reproduce a performance like last season. Last season, Klopp was running on credit, do you get me, from all the work that he's done. But that credit ran out from them not really going into and doing much. That credit ran out. So he really needs to perform this year and get Liverpool back in the top four. I have to say, last year, May, I said I don't think Erik ten Hag would last 18 months at Manchester United. Then man had to eat his words during the season when he pulled off a miracle and Man United finished fourth. However, looking at Man U's dusty performance against Wolves on Monday, Manchester United look stiff. They really look stiff. They're the least agile of all the teams that you mentioned. And I think they could be in problems. If Manchester United get slapped up by Tottenham tomorrow, it's long. They're not getting top four. Forget it. I don't give a damn. You know, he came back after losing 4-0 against Brentford. That won't happen this year because we've got their number. I just feel like Manchester United in the transfer window, they just haven't sorted it out. Everyone's looking like Wan-Bissaka on the pitch. Stiff guys. They're letting Langer go. And so for me, it's either Klopp or Manchester United. But the caveat being, them two, I can see it's looking ropey there between the two clubs.
You got to pick one, Dej. Which one are you going with?
I'm going to go with Erik ten Hag. Because Manchester United was so dusty on Monday that I don't think that was a fluke. I saw them beat Arsenal, but the team that turned up at Old Trafford, there really is no excuse for it. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm not expecting much from Tottenham Hotspur this season. But if Tottenham get a result tomorrow, it's long for United. It's long. So my money's on Eric Ten Hag. And the reason why my money's on Eric Ten Hag is because if he happens to lose his job first, that means I was right. Even though I had to eat humble pie, I might have just been right in the 18-month period because I said I don't think he'll last 18 months.
Okay. Do you not just put that Manchester United performance down to first game of the season syndrome and all of that? No?
Nah, these are professionals. These men were look at the game they played against Arsenal. I know Wolves are a good team, and Martin, Gary O'Neill's got them cooking and playing some good football, bro. But one thing I can tell you, you tend to see the cracks in the first week. You tend to see it. Like we could see the cracks in Liverpool from the first game, and those cracks carried on throughout the season. Just like with Arsenal, we could see Arsenal were cooking different, and they kind of rode on that momentum throughout the whole season. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is, even after week one, you can see Wagwan. I can tell you about Tottenham, that vicarious liability, our goalkeeper. Tottenham fans keep telling me, give him time. This brother's going to let him bear goals this season. These men should be shooting from the halfway line against this brother. That's the kind of thing. But Manchester United looks stiff. I don't know who they're bringing in, but that team just looks so disjointed that I can't see it coming. I can't see it coming good, man. I can't see it coming good. I had Man U to finish above Arsenal this season. I'm gonna have to take that back. They're not looking good at all.
Deji's backtracking already. Northside, bro, what are we saying? I've got people in the comments section. A few people have said Klopp. A few people are agreeing with Deji on the Ten Hag thing. I haven't had any Artetas in here so far. I've even had somebody say Ange Postecoglou would be the first Premier League manager to be sacked. I don't actually agree with that. I'm with you on that one, Deji. You know, I think if Spurs have, it doesn't really matter what kind of season Spurs have, they will give him time. What we're saying, Northside, who's your manager who will be the first one sacked?
I agree with a lot of what Deji's saying. I definitely, when you look at the top teams, I think Tottenham, at the end of the day, I feel like they'll give him the benefit of the doubt because things have gone so sour and they've tried it with other managers, Conte, Mourinho, and this kind of, sack the manager, get a quick, proven manager in hasn't worked. So I think they're going to take more of a patient approach, especially now that they've got rid of Kane. I think he'll be given a lot more patience because they've got rid of their best player. Then you look at Pep. Pep, he's secure. I think he's still going to win the league. Then you're looking at Klopp, and that's when it starts getting a little bit tricky because with Klopp, it's kind of how long can his past success keep him in a job? Kind of like Arsene Wenger. How long does that past success give you credit in the bank? Liverpool aren't a team that normally break the bank for players, and that may give him a little bit more leverage. The fact that they didn't go all out for Bellingham, they obviously lost a couple of targets that may be used more from the fan base towards the ownership more than Klopp, as Klopp identified the players he wanted and the ownership weren't able to get it over the line. That may actually work in his benefit to keep his job. As in, I've identified the players, but these Phillies are no good at getting the players in. They ain't my problem. You know what I mean? We know what we needed. We knew it from last season. I wanted the players. The club failed in getting it. It ain't my fault. That could save Klopp. But at the same time, it could also swing the other way as to Liverpool fans are now got the taste of Champions League again. They got the taste of winning the Premier League again. They may want that again. But because they have a self-sustaining model like Arsenal, who are you going to get? Because you can't buy success because your club don't spend the money like that. They may give him one more chance. Jurgen Klopp, if he can solidify a European place. Then you look at Eddie Howe. Look at how they were sourcing. First game of the season, absolutely sourcing. And
that's legit.
They definitely got a chance. I mean, Chelsea are rebuilding. Man United are still rebuilding. Tottenham are rebuilding. A lot of these teams that are in the top 4, top 6, however you want to call it, a lot of these teams are still not. They're still working towards the finished article. So Newcastle still have a chance. And yes, they need a few more players, but they have that team cohesion. They're playing well. They clearly know what the manager wants, and you can see it in their first game and their first performance, and we saw it last season. Then you look at Poch. I mean, with Poch, he's just come to Chelsea, and they've seen the shambles, and I know Chelsea can be cutthroat, but one season I don't see them getting rid of Poch. He's clearly raised the levels. I mean, look at the performance against Liverpool. You know, they matched Liverpool, and a lot of people argued, me myself, I said they should have won that game. So these kind of managers, some of them I see a lot of time being given to them. I think the top two has to be Arteta and Klopp. Both of these managers are far into their process. Klopp has obviously won major honours. Arteta is yet to still produce. A lot of our fan base are saying that, you know, we've bridged the gap since the Community Shield. A lot of these that are coming out. Oh, we've bridged the gap. Oh, we can go ahead. Oh, Man City are weak this year. They have no Mahrez. They have no Gundogan. Cool. A lot of them are coming out. As soon as we beat the MLS All-Stars, we're ready to compete with with Pep. You know, so at the end of the day, the expectation is there from the fan base, but you know, this fan base, they say one thing, move the goalpost. You know, last season, just be happy, we're top of the league. When we bottled it, oh well, we had a thin squad. So it's a bit rocky. I think it's out of Jurgen Klopp and Arteta, if you're talking about the top 6 managers, into who's going to get sacked. Jurgen Klopp, can he hold on to what he's won in the past and stretch that little 1 year extra of goodwill if he fails to deliver a major honour? Because that is the expectation on him. And Arteta, you've won the Community Shield, you've won the FA Cup, but can you go on now with all the money spent, you know, breaking the transfer record with Rice? Can you go on now and actually deliver? Because we've almost spent £700 million with you. For me personally, I see more chances of Arteta getting sacked than Jurgen Klopp. Arteta doesn't have goodwill. He hasn't won a major honour. He hasn't delivered. He's been given the backing, something that Jurgen Klopp has not been given the backing lately in terms of finances to buy the big players. So Arteta doesn't really have any excuses. Even when you look at it right now, Arteta's been able to sign 22 players while he's been here, £700 million spent, able to renew all the contracts that he wants, get rid of players that he wants, Aubameyang, Ozil, Lacazette, all the players he doesn't want, he's getting rid of. Even our previous transfer record signing, Pepe, he's looking to get rid of. The club are backing him, yeah? £72 million spent. They're not forcing him to make it work. If he wants to get rid, the club is backing him. So there's no excuses anymore. We can't blame the Cronkies because the Cronkies are spending money. Nobody's talking about the Cronkies. He's got the players that he wants. The club even backed him getting Kai Havertz, yeah? A palhaço, un filo da puta that is not worth not even £25 million. He's been backed off the basis of I don't know what, because he's never produced in the Premier League. So Arteta doesn't really have anywhere to go and make excuses, you know? When you're looking at the light squad, we bought Timber, we bought Rice, we bought Havertz. So at the end of the day, there's no more excuses. Arteta's decided to put Reece Nelson on a new contract. Arteta gave El Nene a new contract. Arteta gave Holding a new contract. Arteta gave Nketiah a new contract. So there's no more excuses. You're clearly happy with those players because you're extending them, even though we called them a thin squad at the end of last season. So for me, the first manager to get sacked is Arteta because I don't believe that he's going to win the Premier League. And out of him and Jurgen Klopp, I think this transfer window's gone more in favour of Arteta than it has of Jurgen Klopp.
I hear what you're saying, my brother, but you know, there's a bare leisures out there. If I said this, man would be getting trolled on Twitter outside of my yard. The thing that you're missing though, bro, I hear what your whole analysis is spot on. And you know, I wish I just had the balls tonight to just come out and give that analysis, but you did it, so it's calm. The thing is though, Arteta has favour with Edu. Yeah, and Edu, we know, is running things behind the scenes. Now, what they're going to say is, Arteta's coming, you're playing football. They don't really care about the money that's been spent. Them man are not talking about the 700 million you spent, the 22 players that have come in. If Arsenal drop, remember, I said it was a freak season. You guys overachieved last season. So in theory, if Arsenal finish fourth, that is still a positive. And I can't see Edu sacking Arteta if Arsenal finish in the Champions League spot. It ain't gonna happen. The only way Arteta is getting sacked is if you man come out of top 4. But if you man get top 4 without a trophy, he's still in the job because they're gonna want to. He's gonna say, "We need a striker." Remember, I've been talking about the fact that you need a 20-goal plus striker. People keep trying to draw me to Man City did it without a striker. I said, "You lot aren't Man City. You lot aren't City." And that's what's going to be the next argument now. You know what?
But do you know what it is, Deji, though?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? We got second place when we threw away all the cups and played our strongest team week in, week out. This season, we are not able to do that. He can't throw away the Champions League. That won't be brushed under the carpet the way he did for the Carabao or the FA Cup, because that competition is up there with the Premier League, if not higher. So now he's forced to play his strongest team in the Premier League and in the Champions League. The best he could do playing his strongest team last season is second place. Now that he's going to have to stretch that squad, we're going to be in trouble. And we already have injuries to Gabriel Jesus, to Timber's out for the whole season. So there's already holes. There's no rotation. There's no good enough rotation for Saka. There's no good enough rotation for Gabriel. There's no good enough rotation for Declan Rice playing in that deep line playmaker role. Yeah, there's no good rotation for Odegaard. Yeah, there's no good rotation for the right back. People say Timber's out now. So now you're back to Cedric, Tomiyasu, players like that are not good enough. You know what I'm saying?
It's worse than that, bro.
Just quickly before we go through, because I'm hearing you, man. What was your prediction, the two of you, for Arsenal this season? So that I just want to know if we're on the same page.
Well, as in where we actually think Arsenal will finish.
Yeah, because everything you lot are saying is in line with what I've been saying, and I've been getting trolled on. And I said for those reasons, I think Arsenal could miss out on top 4. But I just want to hear from you, man, what you guys are saying, because that would, then we can link it back to the managers.
Yeah, see, I don't see us getting any higher than 3rd this season. And the only reason that I'm putting us in 3rd is because I don't think Liverpool has done enough in the market. I don't think Man United have done enough in the market, or Tottenham.
Yeah.
And then there's Newcastle. I mean, yeah, I think the highest we'll finish is 3rd. I can see Chelsea going on a madness this season. They've got 1 game a week. You know, they've just brought in Caicedo, they've just brought in Lavia, they've just brought in all these players. And Pochettino's already got them playing football, like Northside pointed out earlier. We see the levels against Liverpool straight away. And this guy ain't even been there that long. So I'm looking at Chelsea, and Chelsea are a big threat this season. And I think they will finish above us. And of course, you know, Manchester City will finish above us, no doubt. But then also Newcastle, bro. You know, I mean, the only thing that I say about Newcastle is they haven't had this whole playing 2 competitions a week kind of thing. They've not been in the Europa League or anything like that. So they're not used to that. Do they have a squad that's capable of competing in the Champions League and the Premier League at the same time? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. So, but they are a threat, Newcastle as well. So I can see there being a situation where Arsenal finish in 4th. No doubt at all. But I don't see us winning the league. No way.
Okay.
Even if we finish 5th, yeah, because this season, I think we're allocated an extra Champions League spot, if I'm not mistaken. So I think even 5th gets Champions League. And I can see this fan base saying, oh, but we're still in the Champions League. But ultimately, all these phases is about progress. 8th, 5th, then 2nd. Anything less than 2nd is a failure because it's not progression. And even if he gets 2nd again, that is stagnant because you haven't improved. Getting 2nd again is not an improvement, it's stagnation. So anyway, they try to bend it, but I can see Arsenal fans going out there and say, oh, well, even though we got 5th, well, we still got Champions League. We're still back in the Champions League. It's our first year back in the Champions League. I can still see them spinning it because this fan base look at any little crumbs and love to over-gas it. But at the end of the day, the predictions I've seen on AFTV has been either Arsenal finish 2nd or 1st and get to Champions League semi-finals. So for me, he has to win a major honour. I've heard them all say a lot of Arsenal fans pre-season. Gone.
Sorry, bro. Can we just be real? Because I hear what you're saying, what Arsenal Fan TV is saying and all that. But let's be real. If Arsenal finish third or fourth without a trophy this season, Arteta ain't getting sacked. Let's just be real, guys. He's not. The amount of love that they've got for him in your team right now,
the hierarchy won't sack him.
They don't want to sack him.
The hierarchy won't sack him.
And that's why
I do think what you'll see this season.
But that's why I'm saying to you, Arteta can't be. I don't see Arteta being up there with one of the managers to get sacked, because what is the likelihood? Even though I'm saying I think Arsenal could finish fifth, in reality, real talk, based on what you guys have done, nobody is seeing fifth right now. So what we are seeing is fourth upwards. And if you get fourth upwards without a trophy, Arteta's still in the job.
Yeah, I do think you're right. I think the hierarchy won't sack him. We see that with Arsene Wenger. You know, when Arsene Wenger's time was to go, they kept hold of him and kept hold of him and kept hold of him. And they'll do the same thing with Arteta. They'll just spin another PR line that will get all the fans on side again. But I do think that we will see a lot more fans turning on Mikel Arteta this season. I genuinely do. All of us that are negative.
Arsenal fans shaking their bum for your manager, you know, shaking their bum violently.
All of us that are negative. All of us that are rats, we'll have more of an army by the end of this season. I'm guaranteeing you that now.
100%, Brandon. Deji, I know you probably don't watch Arsenal as closely as me and Brandon, and maybe you do. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But first game against Nottingham Forest, already these people that have been overhyping up this club were already saying, "Oh well, you know what? Yeah, Ramsdale, I'm a bit shaky with Ramsdale at the back. Last 15 minutes, we're getting caught. It's not good enough. We're getting caught out on counter-attack. We got caught out on the counter-attack within the first 15 minutes of the game. We were just holding on. Yeah, first game of the season. These guys are already criticizing this manager. And like Brandon said, it was the fans that got Arsene Wenger at this club, because the fans stopped turning up to the games. And I think the fans now, they've got to the point where they know he needs to produce now, because they can't keep going on with this process and project. Even they are now expecting a major honor. And you know, it takes a miracle for Arsenal fans to expect major honors at this football club. And even they are already criticizing. Julian criticized on AFTV, major supporter of Arteta. Lee Judges was also critical of this manager. There was a lot of people criticizing that performance against Nottingham Forest. And that's only the first game of the season. That shows you they're not as confident as they say they are. And eventually, his goodwill is going to go, because he can't keep going with... The thing is, the narrative was always, we don't spend money, we can't compete. They can't use that excuse, because we're spending the money. We're breaking our transfer record. He's getting the players that he wants. Even a player like Havertz, this fan base is still getting behind Havertz, in defense of this manager. If it doesn't work out, you know, the fact that they're trying to squeeze him into the team and he's versatile and all that, it's because they don't really rate Havertz. Yeah. So if it doesn't work, all their real feelings are going to come to surface, because within one game I understand me and Brandon being like that, but they're already saying the same things that we're saying within one game of the season.
If that is the case, then I hope so. But I will say this though, although my prediction is either Eric Ten Hag or Klopp, I can foresee something which would be very unfortunate that could happen. Sorry, we're going a bit round the houses, Brandon, but I feel like we have to give analysis. Now, I can see Newcastle getting rid of Eddie Howe, and I'll explain why. You know that Newcastle's the richest club in world football. What Newcastle's doing at the moment is they're making sure that they stay within the financial fair play. And let's be real, Newcastle board and Newcastle fans are surprised at how good Eddie Howe has done. Yeah? They're surprised. Remember this. However, every time Eddie Howe steps up with Newcastle, the board raised the bar. So now Eddie Howe has to get Champions League and has to have a good Champions League run to keep his job for next season. So the only way Eddie Howe keeps his job is if he finishes second. If not, these man, I can see Newcastle, what they want to do is they really want to bring in a Pep, a Guardiola, or I don't know, a Poch. I don't know who the manager is that is not working, who they want to bring in, but they want to bring in a name because Eddie Howe is not a name. And they're waiting for Eddie to slip up. But so far, so good. If Eddie keeps doing what he's doing, he's got a job. But as soon as Newcastle have a blip, be sure. These men are ready to fire at my man so that they can bring in a top name. And that's what it is. I can see the duttiness. Because they're not really giving the brother the props that he everything that Eddie's got, he's earned it. You get me?
No, that's facts, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, Deji? That's absolute facts what you just said, yeah. But the fact that Chelsea are still building, Man United are still building, yeah, and Ten Hag is another one. Because if he keeps Man United stinking the way you said, yeah, I can see him getting sacked, yeah. But I can still see him some way, somehow winning a cup, yeah. But I think because I don't think this season will be the season Eddie Howe gets sacked. I think next season will be the season where he gets sacked. I think this season, United, we're going to see what they do. They still got the takeover and everything else like that. Chelsea are rebuilding. Liverpool have still done some decent business. People are forgetting that because they didn't get Caicedo, they didn't get Lavia. They still done some good business. We're still yet to see what they're going to do. And they're going to react on that because it's making them look like bums in this transfer window. And they've actually have got a world-class manager. Let's not forget, they got a world-class manager. Yeah, and they still got an attack that has also rotation of quality. So sometimes their attack can get them out of some situations we're still yet to see. So I still think there's a couple of teams there that are still a little bit rocky. Newcastle can still take an advantage, but I completely get on board with what you're saying that next season, if this guy doesn't do what he needs to do, I think next season will be the season where 100% I'll be saying, yeah, Eddie Howe, nah. You know what I mean? Because Chelsea are only going to keep buying more players. Yeah. I think Tottenham are going to evolve as a team and get better, but it's still going to take time. Man United are going to spend money. We already know Man United. Man United was spending money even when they were in the doldrums. They were spending money. So their man will spend money to get out of trouble. Liverpool, they still got the basis of a good team. They just need that midfield to get fixed. As soon as they fix that midfield, kind of the same as Man United. Man United got a midfield of flipping Fernandes and Mount. Like, that can't run. Like, that ain't gonna run no midfield. But like, you got Casemiro and then you got Fernandes and Mount. Like, it don't work. You know what I'm saying?
It's dusty.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same with Liverpool. Like, they still got issues that they can still resolve this transfer window. We'll see if they don't. If they don't, then Eddie Howe has a chance. If they go out there and fix that, it's a bit long for Eddie Howe. So it's still up in the air because we don't know what the final squads are going to be once the season kicks off and the transfer window's closed. But I still see Eddie Howe, the way he's got them playing, bro, look at the way he dismantled Aston Villa.
All I'm saying is, like, with Eddie Howe, I think he deserves a shot because he's not gone out and had a war chest. And the way he's got them cooking, Eddie Howe is a big boy manager. But we've seen teams win the league under Chelsea and lose and not being fighting for the Prem and lose their job. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no loyalty in this game. But also, you know that Newcastle want to be considered as a big seven, and Eddie Howe's name ain't sexy enough. Let's be real. I think someone in the chat, United for Life, is mentioning Jose Mourinho. Mate, it's plausible. It's plausible that Newcastle could bring in a Jose, and that Jose, you know, he'll come. You know, he don't care. He'll come back real quick.
Jose with money is an issue, bro. Jose with money and control, like. People downplay, Arsenal fans always downplay, yeah? I remember there was a time I said I wanted Jose at Arsenal. Oh, why'd you want him? He's negative. Bro, we only saw how badly run Man United was when Mourinho left. That's why when you wanted him into the Europa League, he said, bro, do you understand the restrictions and how badly this club is run for me to still win? You know what I mean? No offense to your club, yeah? But your club is, the mentality is so deep within not winning, yeah? That's an anomaly because you take away Tottenham, he's won with Roma, he's won with Porto, he won everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And let's not forget, he was the one, yeah, that gave Chelsea that winning identity, bro. It was Jose, and I think at Newcastle they'll give him that because why? They got the peas. It's a very similar situation to the Chelsea situation. They weren't a team that were winning major honors. They were winning cups before Jose got there. They weren't winning major honors. Jose comes in, right? You run it the way you want to run it. Plus, we got the piece to back your idea. Man could do that with Newcastle. I'm not saying he's going to dominate the Premier League, but a Jose with money, bro. We've seen Jose without money at Roma and still win a European title, bro. You know what I'm saying? People talk about washed up managers, bro. I've seen this fan base, say that Ancelotti's washed up because he went to Everton, bro. Put context behind where the manager's at. Everton. You know what I'm saying? As soon as Ancelotti goes back to Real Madrid, win the major honours straight away.
Straight. No, you're right.
That's it. And this is the thing, right? Because the reason why I wanted to put all this out there is because I bet originally people were sitting there going, yes, this manager is going to be the one that's going to be sacked. This one. But in actual fact, it's actually a difficult question to answer, isn't it? Because I was thinking about this earlier. I
don't think none of the top 7 lose their managers.
Do you know what I mean? I think you will see it though, Dej, because like I said in the intro, the last 5 seasons, a traditional top 6 Premier League side has sacked their manager. Tottenham did with Conte last season. Arsenal did with Unai Emery 5 years ago. Manchester United did with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Do you know what I mean?
What you're saying, but you know what it is, my bro? If you look at it now, the Premier League have all of the top managers in the country, in the world here now. The only person that isn't in the Prem right now is Nagelsmann. Everyone else is here for me. I know people might argue Simeone and Ancelotti, but you know, Ancelotti's done his time, really. Let's be real. Simeone, he ain't leaving Spain. So really, the only one that's left is Nagelsmann. And where is he going to go? Because
I don't know about what you're saying about Simeone, because there was rumors that Simeone kind of had enough with Atleti. He's kind of feel like he's taken them as far as he can. And you know that like managers that win, they like different they like different challenges, innit? And let's be real, most managers manage in the Premier League.
Simeone would need a top 7 team. He's not going to go to Fulham.
Yeah, no.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But we're talking about the top 6,
Top 7.
I can see if Arsenal back Simeone with the money that they backed Arteta, I can see Simeone coming to Arsenal. But Simeone is the type of guy that he wants to run it the way he wants to run it. He's a bit like Mourinho, He wants to run a tight ship. If you give him that, he will come. You know what I'm saying? I can see Simeone at Man United, But Man United might not want him because Man United, they don't really like them defensive style managers. You know what I'm saying? That it didn't really work. They didn't really like Mourinho. Mourinho won them Europa. Mourinho won them titles. The only manager to win Man United titles after Fergie, and they weren't happy in it. But at Arsenal, bro, at the end of the day, we're so desperate. We're so desperate for success, but we can't be picky like that. So I do think Simeone can be prized away, bro. I think Simeone can be prized away. Then you look at the international managers, When you look at managers like Mancini, bro, these managers are top managers, bro. You know what I'm saying? So there are managers out there, but and the thing is, you ain't even got to sell it that hard. All it is about your club being ambitious enough to match that manager's expectations. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the Prem, you can buy any player that you want. We see Newcastle get Tonali. You know what I'm saying? From a big team in Italy. They weren't some bums. Like, all due respect, who are Newcastle, and they're able to get a player from the top 4 big teams in Italy. Like, that is the pool that the Premier League has. But man telling me that man like Simeone won't come here, bro. Like, exactly, he can with that league.
They got that Arab money.
I hear you, but like you said, it would have to be one of the top 7. I can't see him coming. It would have to be Arsenal or United, because right now, I think Klopp is still there. Chelsea, Tottenham, Pep doing his thing. I really think I know what you lot are saying about Arsenal.
You know what, Dej?
Arteta's got more credit in the bank than you man are giving him credit.
Do you know what though, Dej? I disagree with you completely. I actually think
because you're giving him credit for.
You said that you don't think there'll be a top 7 manager sacked this season.
I don't think so.
I think we'll see more than one.
I don't think so.
I do.
That means someone has to have a disastrous season.
Bro, when you look at it, Jurgen Klopp.
Who's going to be a disaster?
Jurgen Klopp is on the ropes right now.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Can I be real? I watched that game against Chelsea last week. I don't know why people are shaking their bum left, right, and centre. Liverpool were not that bad, you know.
No, look, Liverpool.
They weren't that bad.
Yeah, Liverpool looked to me like very much like the Liverpool last season. which is they can literally go to any team and hit them for 4, 5, and 6. But then the following week, they'll go to a team lower down the league and they'll concede goal after goal after goal because they cannot defend. And I think that's going to be Liverpool's issue. That, like, defensively, they look shocking against Chelsea, absolutely shocking. So that's where I think Liverpool's issue is going to lie, and it could end up costing Klopp his job. I think Pochettino, right? I'm sitting here saying, you know, Pochettino and Chelsea, I think they'll be up there this season. I genuinely do think that. But if he was to have a little bit of a disaster again this season, maybe finish outside of the top 6, which, you know, it ain't going to happen, I don't think. But if it did happen, we know Chelsea are cutthroat and they will just sack him and get rid and then bring somebody else in.
Poch is cooking. Chelsea.
Yeah, I think you're right, bro. I think Poch is cooking.
And Newcastle. Nah, let's not sleep on them. Right now.
It's Ten Hag, Arteta, and Klopp. It's Ten Hag, Arteta, and Jurgen Klopp, man. Those are the 3 that out of all of them are the biggest risk. I think Eddie Howe, yes, he doesn't have certain qualities that other teams have, but I think that they're playing for the manager. He clearly has got that cohesion. They're definitely sourcing, and I do think they're going to spend a little bit more money. But I think Ten Hag is very alarming. That game against Wolves, that is alarming. Second season, you're performing like that. That is alarming. Plus, he can die on that Mason Mount sword. Arteta, he's got high expectations this season, high, and it's not only from Arsenal fans like me and Brandon. We're hearing this from the majority of the fan base. They're expecting major honor, either Champions League or Premier League, and I think he could potentially die on that sword. You know what I'm saying? And then the third manager, Jurgen Klopp. It's a bit ropey how much they're really backing him, because at the same time, as much as he's done very well, a lot of the fan base are getting annoyed that he's not addressing certain areas of the squad, and they're going to be extra pissed that they'll be getting roasted over Caicedo and Lavia. That's just added.
But that's not Klopp's fault. But the only thing I will say is this, though: out of the 7 teams that you mentioned, the dustiest team that I saw on the first weekend was United, because they got literally Babyloned by Wolves on Monday. But also, you can look. One thing I love about us when we come together, and everyone that in the chat, everyone like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe on my brother Brandon's channel. Is that we got eyes in it. We can see. And what we saw on Monday was we saw problems with that United team. That is one stiff team. That's why I said Eric Ten Hag. I said 18 months. I don't think, Eric Ten Hag, I think he's flopped the thing, bro, because based on what he did last year, they should not be getting outplayed. They should not be getting
outplayed. Why is he persistent playing Rashford through the middle? Why is that guy persistent playing Rashford through the middle when we know he's not a striker? He's not clinical enough. He ain't good enough. He don't have the attributes to be a striker. That's number one. You've been there a year. You've seen you get the best out of Rashford on the wing. Second of all, Mason Mount. Why are you paying top dollar to get Mason Mount that's done nothing? Then you've got Bruno Fernandes. You've got 2 players, Mason Mount that runs around, offers you nothing, doesn't create a hell of a lot, isn't a great passer, doesn't score a load of goals. And then you've got Bruno Fernandes that has a free role to do whatever he wants. And yes, he looks sourcing on the break when it works. More time than not, he loses the ball. And then you've got only Casemiro defending. Like, that is naive. That is completely naive. Man United, cool, you got a striker. All you need to do now is have the balance. You got Eriksen, and I'm telling you right now, a washed out Eriksen, Eriksen on the decline that's finished, will do a better job, as a holding midfielder than somebody like flipping Mason Mount. He don't do enough. You know what I'm saying? And that is alarming that he's going for Mason Mount. It's alarming, bro, because you're supposed to be getting an Eriksen, someone of an Eriksen level in his prime, if not better. You're going to get a Mason Mount. What does he actually bring to the team to get out? Then you're going with Garnacho. He done absolutely nothing.
And Anthony,
then he bought Anthony. Anthony, you splashed the big P's on Anthony. With a big price tag come big expectations. The guy doesn't do anything. I don't know what he's good. He's not good on taking players one-on-one. He's not a lethal finisher. You know what I'm saying? Garnacho should be coming on like as an impact sub, not as somebody that's starting. He should be learning his trade. Look at how Pep Yeah, look at how Pep dealt with Foden. Yeah, everyone gassing him up. Pep's like, nah, I'm gonna take my time with him. Yeah, take my time with it. I ain't gonna just throw him in. He needs to learn his position properly, and then he will get more game time. Like, that's alarming. So I completely get the Ten Hag thing. And it's the same with Arteta. A lot of things that we're looking at Ten Hag, look at Arteta. The other thing that works against Ten Hag is that with a team that wasn't his last season, without all of his transfers and his players last season, he was able to still get to 2 cup finals, and he won one of them. So the minimum standard this season has to be win a cup, because you did it with a team that wasn't yours, and it's the same thing that you can apply to Arteta. Arteta had a toxic squad, yeah, when he first come into Arsenal, yet he won an FA Cup. Ever since then, he's had all the players that he wants, £700 million spent, and yet we're still yet to see even a cup. And even for me, that's not justifiable enough to keep him in the job. And for Ten Hag, it was only justifiable enough at Man United because it was the first year. Man United are bigger than Arsenal. Let's keep it real. Yeah, they're not going to keep accepting but winning FA Cup or Carabao. That's not good enough, bro. Like, they sacked Jose Mourinho and he won a Europa, and I put Europa above Carabao and FA Cup. I can see it both ways. I can see Ten Hag losing his job just based off of the fact that Man United fans, I know that their standards as a whole has dropped a lot by their fan base, but they still don't. They're still ruthless enough to drop a manager by winning in Europe. You know what I'm saying? And where Arsenal, I don't think we're yet to that standard. Arsenal fans were jerking off saying, "Oh, we bridged the gap because we won a Community Shield." After they said that they don't rate the Carabao, so you don't rate the Carabao. But then these filhos da puta que só falam merda, except for mesma porcaria. All of a sudden, the Carabao means nothing, but the Community Shield, it's up there. It's up there. It's up there. Levels, Premier League, Champions League, and all of a sudden, winning the Community Shield means that we bridge the gap on Man City.
No, I said to Brandon that Arsenal would probably win the Community Shield because we know that Man City are slow starters naturally and they don't give a damn about that dusty trophy. But when I'm hearing Arsenal fans shaking their bum violently in the streets, yeah, like it's some sort of bloody Christmas party about how they're going to do bits, and then they get surprised with the performance against Nottingham Forest, and then they're getting angry at me when I'm saying, you know what, I'm not convinced. And I feel that where Arteta could flop the thing, and I tell you what's going to flop the managers this year, the only reason why I might back you on the Arteta is for one reason and one reason only, and you named it, Kai Havertz. In his quest to prove everybody wrong, that Kai Havertz is the guy, Kai Havertz is the baller, rare. My man might shoot himself in the foot.
That's true. That's true.
That brother should be starting for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
I'm gonna have to bounce, man. I'm gonna have to bounce.
That's fine, Northside. No problem. But before you go, let's just see if all three of us can agree on one manager that we think will get sacked this season. Go.
Ten Hag.
Ten Hag, you with that?
Most likely at the 7.
What do you think, Northside?
Ten Hag is the most likely. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to go Ten Hag. Listen, guys, Northside's got to jump out. Make sure you go over to his channel and subscribe to his channel and watch his stuff as well. If you're not subscribed, by some miracle. But big up yourself, Northside. Thank you for coming on, mate. I appreciate it.
Big up, boys. I need to get you on the channel, man. Listen, love Brandon for having me on. Deji, I owe you one. I need to appear on your channel as well. We need to make it work, but schedule it in. Yeah, schedule it in. Both 100%. Of you need to come on the channel. And yeah, man, it is what it is. People, if you like weekly toxic and negative content, please come over to Northside LDN and we'll inject it into your veins. Yeah, some standards, but it is what it is, man. Big up to the familia, big up to everyone, man. Love having me on. Love.
Yes, Brandon.
So there, it's just me and you again. It's all good. It's all good because this will kind of filter in nicely to our show on Tuesday. By the way, people, there is going to be a regular show every single week. Me and Deji are going to be reviewing the Premier League's weekend's fixtures and the results. We did do one for last week. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go and check that out. And yeah, this kind of filters in nicely, Dej. We're We're going to, now that we've decided that Erik ten Hag is the man who will be sacked out of the 7, we're going to go through and predict the games for this weekend. Of course, we're not going to bother with Forest versus Sheffield United. We know that one's currently playing. I don't think anybody really cares too much about that game. So that one, we kind of wipe that one off. And we'll go straight to Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Deji. What are we saying? Liverpool at home at Anfield against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I see Liverpool winning 3-1, man. It's a comfortable victory. I mean, Liverpool's attack. Salah was cooking, don't get it twisted. He had a little offside there. But Liverpool's attack, the thing that they were missing is that defensive midfielder. But against Bournemouth, no disrespect, I don't think it's important, that important. It's more important when they're playing the top 7. And so, yeah, I see Liverpool slapping him up 3-1, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Guys, get yourselves in the comment section. Let me know your score prediction. I'm going to go... Ooh, Liverpool. Yeah, it's at Anfield. It's at Anfield. They've got to win this, surely. I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool. 2-0 Liverpool. The next game we've got is Brighton versus Wolves. This will be a bit of a tasty game, Edge, because obviously Wolves played very well against Manchester United. The expectations were that there was going to be a team fighting down at the bottom, but they didn't look like that at Old Trafford. Brighton, obviously, very, very good again. They played a newly promoted side and slapped them up, but we know what we're getting from Brighton. It's at Wolves as well. What are we thinking, Dej?
Bro, I just feel like De Zerbi, he's just always getting it. I think the obvious thing would be to say a draw, but I can see Brighton nicking this 2-1, I can see them nicking it 2-1. Wolves are a good team, but I just feel like under De Zerbi, them man just know what they're doing. And I think they snatch a 2-1 against the Wolves.
Do you know what? I'm going to go shock result here. I'm going to go Wolves to win this.
They look good, but you know what I mean.
But then, saying that, they don't really have a striker or anybody who can finish with that. We saw that against Man United. I'm going to have to agree with you, Dej, and go 2-0 Brighton. 2-0 Brighton, I think. The next game, this will be an intriguing game as well. Fulham versus Brentford. Fulham at home. Fulham, of course, with Marco Silva, a manager you rate very highly. Looks like they may well lose Mitrovic. I don't know whether he'll play in this game or not. Of course, Brentford, without Ivan Toney, got a draw 2-2 at Tottenham last week. What do you think?
Yeah, again, Marco Silva, I like what he's doing at Fulham. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Fulham. I just felt like Brentford, even though they got the draw against Spurs, they were underwhelming, bro. They were at home and they had 30% possession. It's not good. And that's a team that beat Man City home and away. Whereas Marco Silva just keeps getting it over the line. Again, for me, watch out for Fulham this season. Watch out for Brighton and Aston Villa. Them 3 teams are going to be pain in a lot of teams' butts this season. And I can see them just nicking it over Brentford.
Yeah. Mate, we're agreeing on a lot of these, I think. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go shock result. Well, I say shock result.
Nobody put a tenner on Brandon's predictions, man. He's just going the opposite direction. He don't believe in his predictions, you know what I mean?
I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford. 2-1 Brentford. I think it will be close game. Definitely a close game. We've got some other tasty fixtures here. We're gonna leave the big ones till last. But let's go to Aston Villa versus Everton. Surely there's no way that Everton are winning this game, Deji. Surely.
No. Bro, I think under Sean Dyche, Everton go down, bro. I don't. I feel like Everton got out by the skin of their teeth last season, but I don't want to say there's a team that I see that has a bigger curse than Spurs, and it is Everton. I just don't know what it is. They've tried, they've spent money, but it just doesn't seem to happen for them. I can see them getting slapped up by Aston Villa 3-0. I can't see them scoring, but I can see Villa scoring. They're not going to stop Villa. I'm going to go with what Footy chats. I'm going to go 3-1 Villa. But Villa will win. Everton will lose their second game of the season.
Okay. I think it'll be a higher scoring game than that. I think these players will feel embarrassed by their 5-1 result against Newcastle. I don't see Everton doing anything. I think you're absolutely right. You know, Sean Dyche, I don't see them really staying up this season. Although I haven't actually put them down as one of the teams to go down. But I do think there's a possibility Everton will go down. Aston Villa, despite the result last week, they will be very good in the Premier League this season, no doubt. I'm going to go, because do you know what? With Unai Emery, there's one thing that I do say about Unai Emery, is going forward, and he was like this at Arsenal, very attacking, very, very attacking. So much so that he almost forgets about defending. So Villa will definitely concede a goal, I think, and it will be a sloppy goal, but I think they'll score a lot against Everton. I'm going to go 4-1 to Villa. Then we move on. Well, we've got two London derbies. So the first one, we're going to skip to Monday night, Dej. We're going to go Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, look, I'm not convinced by Roy Hodgson, and I think Zaha is a big miss for Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace will be in the bottom half. I reckon about 14th, 15th. But it's not going to be like last season where the game was quite tight and Arsenal, I thought you were jammy to get the 2-1 victory. I think there was an own goal by Mark Gay, I think, that gave you guys the win. I think you're going to have an easier time of it, to be honest. I see Arsenal winning 3-0. I just don't think there's enough quality in that Crystal Palace team to do anything. They won't even score. I think it's 3-0 Arsenal. Arsenal win again. And Arsenal fans will be shaking their bums. But, you know, I still stand by my prediction for the season. But I think you win 3-0.
Okay. I think it would be a tighter game. I genuinely do. I think Eze's a threat, definitely a threat. Now that we haven't got Timber in the back line as well, we've basically... I don't know.
Gabriel and Saliba, that was your main back line from last season. So Timber don't matter. No disrespect.
Yeah, but at the moment, who's going to play left back, bro? Because Zinchenko's out. Tierney is on his way out. So it's looking like we're going to have or Tommy, maybe Tomiyasu. But I don't know. I do see there being opportunities for Crystal Palace. But then saying that, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, I don't know.
I don't think there's any quality in Crystal Palace to cause you.
Yeah, no, 2-0 Arsenal. I'm going with 2-0 Arsenal. The second London derby. This will be an interesting game. West Ham versus Chelsea. West Ham at home. But I could see West Ham struggling again this season as well. Chelsea, they look good against Liverpool. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will destroy West Ham, to be honest. West Ham fans will be blowing bubbles all the way out down Westfield, to be honest with you. I could easily... I'm going to go 3-0, but my heart is saying 4-5, to be honest. But West Ham won't score. I just think the attacking threat that Douglas, the Jackson fella, he will score. And Chelsea will just be too much. It'd be interesting to see if Reece James starts, but if Reece James is fit, it's long. It's forget about it. It's long. If Reece James starts, they're that good. Yeah,
I'm gonna go because the only thing about Chelsea is they still lack that cutting edge. They still lack that.
I think
going forward, very good, but I'm not too sure about whether they've got somebody who can put it in the back of it. Very, very similar.
That guy is not bad, you know. He had a tough game against Liverpool. Let's not forget Liverpool, Konate, and Van Dijk. They're not clowns. He's going up against Ogbonna, you know, like that. Let's be real. Yeah. That Jackson guy is gonna do the dirty, and don't be surprised if he scores 2 goals against West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I think it'll be a little bit of a tighter game than not a tighter game. I think it'll be a tighter score. I don't know why, but for some reason, Dej, I just think Jared Bowen's going to score for West Ham. I don't know why. Don't ask.
For a month, no.
But I've got this feeling, bro. I've got this feeling. So, yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. Now, the next 2 games, take your pick because these 2 games are going to be extremely hard to call. Let's start with your game, Dej. Tottenham versus Man United.
Do you know what? I'm not happy, as you know, about the Tottenham team. I thought Kulusevski, Son, and Richarlison were dusty last week, and I don't think our goalkeeper is good. However, I have a sneaky suspicion Tottenham might win, against United and just sneak a little 2-1 just to put pressure. And that will go in line with what we were talking about tonight as to why Eric Ten Hag could be on a chopping board. Because if they lose to Spurs, he's having a similar start to how United started last season. Do you get what I'm saying? Postecoglou had Tottenham with a lot of ball possession. We just couldn't score. And I could see Tottenham having more ball possession because Mason Mount, Casemiro, and Fernandes, that midfield is just not the one. It's just not. There's no coherence, there's no cohesion, like Northside said. And I think they could be in trouble. Romero's back, Van der Ven. My only fear is any shot outside the box could go in against our keeper. But I reckon Tottenham at home, Postecoglou with the energy, they might just sneak a little 1-0 or 2-1.
Okay. I think Man United will win this. I think you're right. I think Tottenham will have the majority of the possession. Yeah, close that door, love. I think Tottenham will have the majority of the possession, but I think where Man United do thrive is when they're hitting teams on the counter attack. Marcus Rashford and the pace that they've got, I can see it being a tight game. I think Man United will just sneak it 2-1. I think it will just be 2-1. But you boys are at home, so maybe the home crowd and the home advantage, possibility. But yeah, it's a tight game to call, bro. It really is. And then the final game, Manchester City versus Newcastle. This is going to be probably the game of the weekend, I think, because both teams are so good right now. Of course, Man City missing Kevin De Bruyne. He's out for up to 4 months now. Could that be playing effect? Newcastle as well look very good. 5-1 against Aston Villa. What do you think?
I'm going to go with a surprise shock. Not financial advice, but I'll be sticking a tenner on Newcastle to win 3-1 tomorrow. And the reason why I'm going to go 3-1 is because I feel like Newcastle are up for it. I'm not saying Newcastle are going to win the league or anything, but there are some teams that start well, and Newcastle started well. And that energy, the confidence they're going to take into this game. Man City, for me, are notoriously slow starters. Even if they lose to Newcastle, it won't stop them winning the league. And if they're going to lose, this is the time to lose. And I can see Newcastle winning 2-1 or 3-1. I think Man City will find it hard to score against Newcastle. That defence is very hard to break down. And that midfield of Joe Linton, Tonali, and Gimenez, it's long. It's really long. So I'm going to go... I'm going to go 3-1 Newcastle because that Isak, he can terrorise Stones all day long, to be honest. And, I saw Man City struggle against Sevilla, in my opinion, this week. You know what I mean? In that cup thing. So, yeah, it'll be a surprise, but not a surprise if Newcastle win.
Do you know what? I've got to agree because you're right. City did struggle against Sevilla. Was they really that bothered about that game? I think the biggest problem that City are going to have is that they're going to miss that Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland link up. I think Erling Haaland without Kevin De Bruyne, he's not as effective, and I genuinely believe that. I think he's gonna miss Kevin De Bruyne massively, not to the point where he won't score, but I don't think he'll get as many opportunities, so he'll have to be clinical. And to be fair, the guy is 9 times out of 10 clinical. But a Newcastle team that defend very well, they attack very well as well. I'm gonna go 2-2 draw. I do think it'll be a high scoring draw. But I think Newcastle coming out of the Etihad with a draw, I think that'll be excellent and boost them confidence. To be fair. And maybe dent Manchester City a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, Newcastle is certainly a problem. So that's all the predictions for the games, guys. Make sure you get yourselves in the comment section. Even the guys that are watching on playback later on, make sure you in the comment section letting us know which manager of the top 7 teams now that we've included Newcastle, will be the next one to be sacked, and what your score predictions are for this weekend's fixtures as well. Me and Deji will be back on Tuesday evening to review this weekend's results, and we'll obviously be talking about the big games and the rest of it. So make sure you're about on Tuesday. What time do you reckon, Dej? About 9 o'clock again?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Make sure you're tuning in. But big up everybody that's been watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you go over to Deji's channel as well, Deji Spurs, and hit the subscribe button and show him a bit.
I'll be doing a reaction show tomorrow straight after the Spurs game.
So there we go. So he's got plenty of content coming as well. And yeah, peace. We're out of here, guys. Cheers.